But now to Afghanistan, where Taliban leaders have begun discussing who they'll choose to replace their emir, Mullah Mansour, who was killed in a US drone strike on the weekend. Intelligence authorities have confirmed that the Taliban chief was killed in the drone strike that was authorised by President Barack Obama. US and Afghan officials say they hope his removal will reinvigorate peace talks to end the years of war. In a moment, we'll hear from a terrorism analyst who studied targeted killings and warns the US elimination of the Taliban leader will only increase the danger to Afghan civilians. But first, this report from Anne Barker.
US officials say Saturday's airstrike involved multiple drones that targeted a car travelling in the mountainous border region just inside Pakistan's Baluchistan province. Inside were two men, a driver and Taliban leader Mullah Akhtar Mansour. He was apparently travelling on a fake passport and only entered Pakistan the same day from Iran. But US officials, including Secretary of State John Kerry, are confident the man killed was Mullah Mansour.
Mansour posed a continuing, imminent threat to US personnel in Afghanistan, to Afghan civilians, Afghan security forces, and Resolute Support Coalition members across the country. And this action sends a clear message to the world that we will continue to stand with our Afghan partners as they work to build a more stable, united, secure, and prosperous Afghanistan.
Since Mullah Mansour took over as leader last July, the Taliban has intensified its campaign of violence and expanded the territory under its control. Both the US and Afghanistan say Mansour was actively involved in planning attacks, most recently a suicide bombing in Kabul last month that killed scores of people. And General Dawlat Waziri from Afghanistan's Defence Ministry says Mansour was directly opposed to the peace process. The last solution for those who don't accept peace talks will be death, he says. Afghanistan's government and army forces tried their best to bring Mullah Mansour to the peace talks, but he didn't want to join the peace process. It's unclear what Mullah Mansour's death will mean for the Taliban or peace negotiations. It's by no means certain his successor will be any more disposed towards peace. When he took over last year, Mullah Mansour had been in effective control for 2 years since the death of the Taliban's founder, Mullah Omar. Militant sources have told journalists an insurgent assembly is now underway to appoint a successor from several possible candidates. Among them are the son of Mullah Omar and 2 deputies, including Sirayuddin Haqqani, who's seen as even more hardline. One political analyst, Harun Mir, says the only certainty is that Mullah Mansour's death will bring more violence.
We know that there will be more violence. We know that there will be some revenge attacks launched by Taliban and Haqqani network. We know that perhaps today or tomorrow there will be more suicide bombings in Kabul. But we ultimately know that Taliban will not take over Kabul.
Mullah Mansour is one of several top Taliban or Islamist extremists targeted and killed inside Pakistan, among them, of course, Osama bin Laden 5 years ago. And his death is further evidence of the Taliban's presence in Pakistan, as well as the implicit support Taliban militants have had from Pakistani authorities. Pakistan's foreign ministry says the latest drone strike is a violation of its sovereignty, but General Waziri has called for greater cooperation from the Pakistani government. The Haqqani network is in Pakistan, he said. Mullah Omar was in Pakistan, Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan, and Mullah Mansour has been killed in the Baluchistan area of Pakistan. It's better for Pakistan to cooperate with Afghanistan. Ordinary Afghans can only hope that Mullah Mansour's death will bolster the peace process and help bring stability. But there are fears the Taliban leadership vacuum could also open the door to Islamic State, which has a small but growing presence in Afghanistan.
Anne Barker reporting.